to episode 4, folks, of the H2SX rebuild. This is the fourth and final episode of the rebuild. Stick around, stay tuned, and get to see the bike back on the road.
Right, so we're going to change the air filter. We've got a performance one to go in there, nice K&M one. It's a washable, reusable performance filter. Filter in, and then you put the inner case on it, and some of it bolts through from the front where the scoop is there on the left, and then you have to bolt the case into the actual airbox itself. So this is a reverse of putting taking the fairing off. We're just putting on this top piece of fairing. There's a rubber bung that clips in just under the bottom of the tank there. There's a couple of push clips to go in as well, and then a couple of bolts. It's obvious how it goes on. It can only go on one way. Right, so we've got to change the rear tail tidy. As you can see there, hopefully you can see that on the camera. You see the crack straight across the back of it there, and it's gone all the way through. So we don't want that snapping off at any point and falling down into the back wheel. So we're going to change the whole thing, but I'll just show you where a couple of the sneaky bolts are located. You can see these two holes here. I'll just show you where they are on the bike because they're a little bit difficult to spot. Right, so there are your four main screws there that go through the unit, and then those two screws I was on about are those two holes just there that you need to get to from the top here. So just bear that in mind when you're taking the tail unit off. Right, so while we're working on the back end of the bike, we've got a rack here to be fitted. So we've got to bolt some of that underneath the bottom of the bike before we put the rear tail light. Before we put the rear tail tidy back on. You can see the big plate there needs to go onto the underside of the bike first, and then you bolt the tail unit onto the bottom of that. Right, so for the rack to go on, you've got these two spacer plates that need to go on first. This is the top plate, and then the plate with the four holes goes underneath like that. It's got a little half moon cutout at the back there, and that just sits in there over the four original mounting holes. So you put the four bolts in from the top. You've got this bracket here. This is the bracket that goes underneath the bike. This again has got a spacer plate in it that goes on that way around. There's a little notch at the front there where it goes on, and that will go underneath the bike. Get the four bolts poking down from the top of the bike there, and we'll put the plate up. You can see that's the notch for the cables there at the front. So yeah, we'll get it all up and see how it goes. So that is an absolute nightmare, folks, to be honest, because you've got the metal bracket, and then you've got that spacer plate we showed you, which has to go in between the plastic of the tail tidy and the metal bracket of the rack, and you've got to put your bolts in from the top at all times. So yeah, you need to be Ollie Octopus to put that on your own. Four bolts there, just got to be bolted up into the tail unit. White to white.
grey to grey, black to black. Make sure they work.
Yep, and you can just see the reflection in the reflector there that the number plate light is working as well. Alright, so we're going to bolt the side arm onto the rack. It goes onto the back of the rear foot peg there. There's a couple of spaces and an insert to go in, and then this is the bracket that we fitted a moment ago, and it just bolts in there. And obviously you just bolt everything up roughly nice and loose so you can get both sides on, so you can get your top plate mounted across the two. So yeah, here we go. That's it loosely on, but just to show you, you can see that the arm there actually goes over the back of the foot peg bracket. Right, so you can see the two sides of the rack mounting brackets there. We'll put the top plate on. This is all nice and loose, so we can get the plate on, no trouble at all, and just get that lined up before we tighten everything down. So this is the Givy or Jivy, or however you want to say it. This is the Trekker plate. That's the back of the bike with the plate on, doesn't obstruct the rear tail light too much. You'll be able to see that quite nicely at night, no problem at all. So you can see there, we've actually managed to get a side pannier on. I know some people have had some queries around, can you run a top box and panniers? I know Kawasaki don't recommend it. I know they do say that you shouldn't run both top box on, just so you can see what that looks like as well. So there you go, top box and pannier on. We have got to have the pannier painted for the green. That should be on the side of the casing there, so that will be getting done, but you can see that does actually fit. Right, so the screen's going in. You'll have seen the Jivy screen in the previous episodes. If you haven't, go and check them out. So yeah, get it in. Right, so over on the left there you can see the damaged fairing. That's the old one, that's off. In the centre is the new piece with the cornering light in, and then you've got the green bit on the right hand side. So the fairing actually comes in two parts, and you've got to put it back together before you can actually put it on the bike. So you can see, to fit the fairings together, there's 6 screws on the back of this one, 2 at the bottom, 2 in the middle, 2 at the top. Should be able to just split those, take the black piece or green piece away from the black piece, and then replicate it on the new one. So that little piece down the bottom there, that has got a little circlip around it, so you need to take the circlip off the back and then you can slide it out from the other side. There you go, fairing split, and we'll get the new one back together. Already got the cornering light screwed onto the new piece of fairing, and just where his hands are there, that's that little, I don't know what it's called, it's a spacer for the fairing to bolt on basically, so you need to push that back through and put the circlip back on the back of it. Go. That is them just slid together, and it is as simple as that. Just literally slides over the top, put your 6 screws back in, and you're ready to start putting it on the bike. There you go, that's the fairing built up and the daytime the cornering light cover on. So yeah, it's all built up now. Right, last fairing going on. and it's pretty much done. One that we're doing up now, the bracket behind there was a little bit bent. We did have to bend that back into place because obviously this is where the impact happened on this side, so yeah, we did have to bend that one. Now, as you'll remember from the previous episode, we asked about the downpipe protector, about painting it black. As you can see, we have painted it black because it does look much better over the silver that it was. So you can see the two guards now are black and it looks 10 times better. Right, so we're going to put the top fairing cover in. Now the side fairing's on. Now we have noticed, just in preparation for putting this on, we're missing the two little rubber bungs that go in there which have the thread inside them, so we won't be able to put them on today, but they will be ordered. Here's folks, one rebuilt H2 SX SE, all the fairings on, all the damage is done, it's all completed, and we'll go for a little look around the bike. I have to apologise for the squeaking. I've got my bike boots on because we are going out for a little test ride in a minute, so yeah, they're squeaky, but you can see all repaired. No more damage fairing anymore. Crash bungs on this side as well. Made the little repair to the back of the exhaust plate. I haven't ordered an exhaust yet, still undecided on what to order, but one will be ordered and I'll show you the process of fitting that once we decide on what we're having. You'll have seen the rack on there with the Givy plate for the tracker box. The number plate brackets on and done, and this side was undamaged anyway. We still had to take all the fairings off and redo it. We've got the crash bung on this side as well. Obviously the nose cone, screen. Screen on there. All this top of this handlebars all redone. The switches. Got the tank ring on as well. That's Givy as well. So you've got the quick release tank ring on there for the bags. There you go folks, that's the H2 SX finished. We're going to go for a little test ride now I hope you've enjoyed the series. There you go, folks. He's on his H2, ready for the first ride out.
So there you have it, the H2SX back on the road, from damage to rebuild. Hope you've enjoyed the 4 episodes. You can see on screen now a cost breakdown and a comparison. So a used /X demo bike of the same spec, time of filming on average was roughly 14.5 grand, and this bike has come in at £8,862. I hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget to click like and hit subscribe. Plenty more content coming your way.